On World News tonight, a large number of people killed by the terrorists in Saudi Arabia, including 7 Americans. There may have been 30 suicide attackers. We'll take a closer look at what is driving the terrorists and why the Saudis don't do more about it. In Iraq today, a truly mass grave. The tales from the dead are a lesson on how Saddam Hussein operated. And why did the Texas legislators go into hiding? The state troopers went after them. Talk about broken government.
From ABC News World Headquarters in New York, this is World News Tonight with Peter Jennings.
Good evening, everyone. We're going to begin with the terrorist attacks in Saudi Arabia. They were worse in every respect than authorities first imagined. The Saudis say tonight at least 29 people have died. That includes at least 7 Americans. But many more people may have been killed. It is simply not clear as yet. And 200 people may have been injured. The Secretary of State, Colin Powell, went to visit one of the locations today. He was briefed about this. This was a brazen attack at 3 separate places. There may have been 30 suicide bombers involved. It was well planned and well coordinated, which leads the U.S. and Saudi Arabia tonight to say that it has all the earmarks of an al-Qaeda operation. The Bush administration and the rulers of Saudi Arabia have promised that the men who plotted this will pay for it. We're going to go first to ABC's John McCarthy.
Most people were in bed when the attacks began.
And they drove through the compound randomly, firing shots, and then they went around to the apartment side of the compound and detonated a car bomb, which pretty well wiped out several apartments in the area.
One moment you are sitting behind your computer, and the next minute you are lying on the ground with basically everything destroyed.
3 residential compounds within a few miles of each other in Riyadh, all filled with foreigners, all with security guards and gates.
You know, there was no increase in security to speak of anywhere.
The terrorists hit within 5 minutes of each other. In each case, there were 2 vehicles and teams of 6 to 10 suicide terrorists. A car in the lead filled with gunmen who tried to shoot their way through the front gate security, followed by a van filled with an estimated 400 pounds of explosives. Secretary of State Powell arrived in the country just hours after the attack and visited the site where most of the Americans were killed.
It was straight down the road, made a left, made a right, and set it off.
Powell said it had all the earmarks of al-Qaeda.
This was a well-planned terrorist attack. Obviously, the facility had been cased, as had the others.
This is where 70 American employees of the Northern Virginia Venel Corporation live. For 25 years, this company has helped train the Saudi National Guard. 50 of them happened to be gone last night on a training exercise out of the city. There are 40,000 Americans in Saudi Arabia, 5,000 in the U.S. military, though that number is going down sharply. All U.S. combat planes will leave by the end of summer. Many civilians may leave as well.
People are definitely leaving. Certainly all the people that I work with are on flights in the next few days. This has really shocked us.
And it has shocked the Saudis as well, many of whom have sympathized with Osama bin Laden's message, but not his methods. Tonight, small teams of FBI and CIA agents are being dispatched to help with the investigation, but the Saudis, as has been the case in the past, are not promising that the U.S. agents will be able to talk to witnesses or gather evidence at the scene of the crime. Peter?
John, there's one other thing that is not completely clear tonight, and that is, the number of attackers. We think maybe as many as 30, but some perhaps got away. What do you pick up on that?
It is unclear, Peter, but what does seem obvious is most of them died, suicide bombers, but some of them, officials are now leaving open this possibility, may have walked away and are still on the street.
Many thanks, John McCarthy. We're now joined by our chief investigative reporter, Brian Ross. Brian, you've been working this story all day long. It does, as we've said, have all the earmarks, at least, of an al-Qaeda operation.
That's right, Peter. In fact, a known al-Qaeda commander has taken responsibility for the attacks, and U.S. officials believe him, saying all the signs point to this as the latest al-Qaeda terror strike. And both Saudi and U.S. officials had signals it was coming. Saudi officials, investigating a suspected al-Qaeda cell in Riyadh, seized huge quantities of guns and explosives last week. But Saudi police botched an effort to capture 19 suspected members of that cell. U.S. officials believe those men pulled off the attacks.
They were able to hit a target that should have been well protected, and they were able to do it even after their cell was attacked by Saudi police last week.
Osama bin Laden has not been seen since this tape was released 13 months ago. But just before the war with Iraq, bin Laden called on a next generation of commanders to attack American targets in Saudi Arabia.
And we suspect that he's been demanding an attack in the days since the war began, both as retaliation for the war, but also to show that he's still alive.
This would be the first major attack by al-Qaeda inside Saudi Arabia, long a source of money and manpower for bin Laden. Saudi Crown Prince Abdullah denounced the bombings today as shameful murder and promised a full investigation. Many former and current U.S. officials are skeptical the Saudis will follow through.
They're very clear that what involves or what's going on inside the kingdom is their problem. And they choose very carefully just exactly what road they'll go down.
John Lewis was the FBI official sent to Saudi Arabia in 1996 after terrorists blew up the Khobar Towers, killing 19 Marines. Lewis says the men responsible were executed before the FBI could ask them a single question about their connections.
We never really solved that case.
The Saudi Interior Minister, who was in charge then, is still in charge, and the Saudis to this day have never provided the U.S. any information about how the 15 Saudi hijackers from 9/11 were recruited by al-Qaeda, Peter.
Brian, if the analysis today is correct, al-Qaeda is better organized than the Bush administration has either believed or said publicly.
That, in fact, is the case. This indicates the scale of the attacks, that a new generation of commanders has replaced those taken into custody. And as for Osama bin Laden, he clearly is still at large and calling shots.
Thanks, Brian. Brian Ross, our chief investigative reporter. A little later in the broadcast, we'll take a closer look at Saudi Arabia. This is a kingdom with a crisis. Now, preparing for terror here at home. This was the second day of the government's staged operation to test how much progress has been made in improving homeland security. The simulations began yesterday in Seattle, moved on to Chicago today. A number of people in and out of law enforcement have been asking whether they are too much of a simulation to be an adequate measure of the country's readiness. We begin tonight with ABC's Dean Reynolds.
It's a horrifying thought. Terrorists releasing pneumonic plague into the air near Chicago's United Center.
Lay down if you feel faint. Lay down if you feel faint.
In today's simulation, hundreds of victims flooded into local hospitals.
We need nurses out here.
Complaining of flu-like symptoms.
On three. 1, 2, 3.
In this simulation, samples of the virus are to be sent to the Centers for Disease Control in Atlanta, which will tell Chicago that the illness is the plague.
They can get it here within less than an hour.
Then, vital medicines are to be located and shipped.
We take it much more seriously. It's much more realistic given the realities of the world today.
Unresponsive, but apparently is breathing.
Chicago's bioterror drill followed the detonation of a fake dirty bomb in Seattle on Monday and tested the effectiveness of the response to both calamities.
The drill has been very, very useful for us to assess our emergency preparedness.
The test featured fake federal officials and a fake newscast full of fake reports, but no real suspense.
Some of you are going to be instructed to die.
Even the dead have been briefed on what to do.
We need a couple of people to get them up.
According to the script, it gets much worse for Chicago. Later in the week, a downtown building will collapse and a plane will crash at Midway Airport.
Wheel them down to Cham and see
But knowing what's going to happen bothers some critics.
You dilute the exercise to a certain extent by providing information that you realistically wouldn't have.
In the real world, terrorists are seldom caught quickly, but in this scenario, they'll be taken into custody here on Chicago's West Side Thursday night. Dean Reynolds, ABC News, Chicago.
And now to Iraq. Another mass grave has been discovered. This one was south of Baghdad. It appears to be one of the largest found so far. ABC's Jim Sciutto went to the site. It is in Babylon.
They leave these crude burial grounds carrying all that remains of relatives in plastic bags. The regime betrayed us, said this man. They were all cowards. Residents of Babylon long believed these fields concealed graves of Shiite Muslims killed here after rising up against Saddam Hussein in 1991. Now they know for certain. Shakir came here looking for 3 brothers. He found 2 of them today. I'm relieved because now we know the facts, he says. We can see the truth. In 2 days, they found 2,000 bodies. Men, women, children, some handicapped. Many skeletons were still blindfolded. Iraqis and the U.S. military believe there are several thousand more.
This is an archaeological site, and it's no accident the bodies were buried here. Under Saddam Hussein, it was illegal for Iraqis to dig here or even walk on the site.
Search teams look for identification inside crumbling wallets, adding each name to a ledger. If there's no ID, they hope a relative might recognize something, a watch, a scarf.
About 600 has been recognized his name and his relative and family, but the other not recognized. Muhammad Katib Aboud.
Every few minutes, someone announces new names. One by one, grieving relatives come forward. This man heard the name of his 18-year-old brother, missing for 12 years. I'd still been hoping, he said, he might come home one day. But here, there was only proof of their worst fears. Jim Sciutto, ABC News, Babylon.
And now we go to the U.S. and Cuba. The relationship between this country and Cuba, never good, got worse today. The Bush administration has ordered 14 Cuban diplomats in Washington and New York, including 7 of the United Nations, to leave the country. They're accused of unacceptable activities. ABC's Martha Raddatz is at the State Department. Martha, unacceptable activities often means spying.
It does, and the U.S. State Department today broadly hinted at that, but they named no specifics. And as you know, Peter, diplomatic snooping is quite common. I think what you have here is more a diplomatic tit for tat. The U.S. head of the interest section in Cuba, the new U.S. head, has been reaching out to dissidents there, which made Fidel Castro very, very angry. He arrested many of them, gave them very, very stiff penalties, and has restricted somewhat the chief of the U.S. interest section's movement down there. So now the U.S. has expelled these diplomats.
One Cuban official said today relations are as bad as they've been since the Cuban Missile Crisis in 1962. And is there a suggestion now that the Cuban government will react to this?
Well, relations really are bad, Peter, and I think what you can expect is the Cubans to start expelling diplomats or maybe even shut down the interest section.
Okay, Martha Raddatz, thanks very much at the State Department. When we come back this evening, we'll take a closer look at what is really under attack in Saudi Arabia and what is at stake for a troubled American ally. And at the end of the broadcast tonight, the strange story of the lawmakers who shut down the State House in Texas by leaving the state.
This is a courageous stand. There's nothing cowardly about this. This is what you do when you stand up to the tyranny of a majority.
This is World News Tonight with Peter Jennings. Brought to you by Advil Liquid Gels.
I'm up, but this arthritis pain.
The moment of choice. Tylenol or Advil? What do you take for arthritis pain?
Advil's the choice for me.
Truth is, only Advil Liquid Gels give you advanced liquid-filled capsules. Can't get that from Tylenol. Advil Liquid Gels rush long-lasting relief where you need it, and it's gentle on your stomach.
Oh, that's great.
For fast relief, advance to Advil.
In national taste tests, more families prefer the taste of KC Masterpiece Original Barbecue Sauce over Kraft Original. So, when given a choice...
KC Masterpiece tastes incredible.
We're talking flavor Kraft can't even come close to.
My girlfriend says it makes my lips taste good.
KC Masterpiece Barbecue Sauce. When it comes to taste, it's the clear winner. And now try new Dippin' Top sauces. Great for dipping nuggets or topping burgers.
Low prices, always. Got an itch?
Scratching tears up skin. Maximum Strength Lanacane saves your skin from scratching with maximum anti-itch medicine and antibacterial to help kill germs. Lanacane stops the itch, saves your skin.
Chilly nights at the firehouse mean heartburn and gas. These don't relieve both, but new Gas X with Maalox does. And new soft gels that combine the heartburn relief of Maalox with the power of Gas X. New Gas X with Maalox soft gels beats the burn and the bloat fast.
So we're going to take a closer look tonight at the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. It is not overstating it, we think, to say that this country of 23.5 million people is facing as much of a crisis as it has ever faced. This terrorist attack was aimed at the rulers of Saudi Arabia as much as it was the U.S. Here's a country with the largest known reserves of oil, two of Islam's most sacred places, Mecca and Medina, Muslim extremists ready to kill, and the United States as an ally. That is a bad combination these days. Here again tonight is ABC's Martha Raddatz.
This may be the price of friendship. Osama bin Laden warned the Saudis long ago to kick out the Americans. Instead, Saudi Arabia again opened up its military bases for the U.S. to wage war on Iraq. U.S. combat planes will be out of Saudi Arabia by summer's end, but the Riyadh bombing makes clear that is not enough.
By hitting foreigners in Saudi Arabia, it's 2 for 1 in many ways. And it puts the Saudis in the uncomfortable position of being in the same boat with the United States in this war on terrorism.
How effective the Saudis can be in the war against al-Qaeda has been questioned before. 15 of the 19 9/11 hijackers came from Saudi Arabia, yet the Saudis have offered little to assist that investigation and minimize the al-Qaeda threat in their country.
Every time we ask them, they say everything's fine in Saudi Arabia, there's no problems.
But there are big problems in Saudi Arabia: human rights abuses and the lack of some basic freedoms. 15 or 20 years ago, the per capita income was $28,000 a year. Today, it's $6,000. Unemployment is estimated at around 15%, and many of the unemployed are young. 60% of Saudis are under the age of 25. Many believe that all this has produced a breeding ground for Islamic extremism.
We have young people with no prospects for anything. They are mad, they go to the mosque, they learn to hate, they go to school, they learn the same message. If you put anybody under that circumstance and I give you terrorist, killer.
The royal family, seen as far too modern by many Saudis and certainly by Osama bin Laden, has made few attempts to crack down on those who preach hatred, fearing a backlash.
It's a royal family that has made a deal with the devil, and that's the fundamentalists in Saudi Arabia, saying that you can expand, you can proselytize in Africa and Central Asia, just don't do it inside Saudi Arabia.
But now that terrorists have hit hard in the Saudi capital, the ruling family can no longer ignore the enemy within its borders. Martha Raddatz, ABC News, the State Department.
Our closer look for today. When we come back, why is the bankrupt airline hiring people again? And the color of money, the new $20 bill.
That's me with his whole family.
So you on a farm?
Yeah, imagine with my allergies.
Go where you wanna go. Do what you want.
This is Trisha.
Now there's a new and different way to treat seasonal allergies. Singulair, the only seasonal allergy medicine that specifically blocks leukotrienes, an underlying cause of allergy symptoms. It's a once-a-day tablet that helps relieve a broad range of symptoms for a full 24 hours.
Yeah.
Side effects are generally mild and vary by age and may include headache, ear infection, sore throat, and upper respiratory infection. Ask your doctor about Singulair.
Morning!
Good morning.
Ready to go for a tractor ride?
You know, I think I did just fine.
Singulair, a different way to treat seasonal allergies.
When you're looking for a home, your real estate agent is a big part of your life. You need someone experienced you can count on. RE/MAX, outstanding agents, outstanding results.
See it grow. See it succeed. If you have an idea, a plan, a dream, see it with CIT.
The perfect accessory for your right foot. Cadillac CTS. Breakthrough.
In my 30s, my metabolism slowed down, so I eat smarter, I exercise more. Plus, I found a new multivitamin.
One a day Weight Smart, the only multivitamin with EGCG to enhance your metabolism while you manage your weight.
Now that's smart.
One a day Weight Smart.
For the best protection against water damage, one name says it all. Thompson's Water Seal, wood protector plus waterproofer for the highest level of water protection guaranteed. Thompson's Water Seal and New Advance, the most powerful protection against water damage.
Tomorrow, the new blood pressure guidelines. Should you be taking a more aggressive approach when it comes to your health? Find out if you could be at risk on World News Tonight.
A lot of news overseas today, as you know, so the national briefing is fairly short. The government confirmed today that there were a record number of tornadoes during the first 10 days of May, 412, the highest number since they began keeping records in 1950. United Airlines, which is in bankruptcy, says it's going to hire 180 new employees to deal with what the airline says is an unprecedented number of calls. United is getting 300,000 calls a day, they say, and the volume apparently comes from new, cheap fares available, as well as people who want to change their flights to avoid SARS, or those who want to redeem frequent flyer miles because they are not sure about the airline's future. The Treasury Department unveiled the new $20 bill today. There is some peach and blue in the new bill. It's a little hard to see. It's part of the effort to make it harder to counterfeit the 20. The government says that out of every 10,000 $20 notes in circulation in the world, 1 or 2 is a fake. And there are millions and millions in circulation. When we come back, the very strange story from Texas tonight. The legislators who are on the run and why.
I thought a lot before I stopped taking hormones.
But not about my bones.
Not about my bones.
When you stop hormone therapy, significant bone loss can occur within the first year. Ask your doctor about a bone density test. It can tell if your bones are thinning. If they are, this is the age of Fosamax. Fosamax is for postmenopausal women at risk for or with osteoporosis. Hormone-free, it's proven to help reverse bone loss. You should not use Fosamax if you have certain disorders of the esophagus, are unable to stand or sit upright for 30 minutes, have severe kidney disease, or low blood calcium. Before use, talk to your doctor if you have stomach or digestive problems. Stop taking Fosamax and tell your doctor if you develop new or worsening heartburn, difficult or painful swallowing, or chest pain, because these may be signs of serious upper digestive problems.
Why wait?
Why wait?
It's a simple test.
If you've stopped taking hormones, ask your doctor about a bone density test. This is the age of Fosamax, helping reverse bone loss.
Red Lobster has a new, juicy, tender-aged Angus sirloin, paired with our very own delicious shrimp. It's the best of both worlds. Now just $13.99 for a limited time at Red Lobster.
Men over 40 are waking up to a surprising fact. They may already be at risk of a heart attack. Doctors recommend Bayer low-dose aspirin as part of a routine to help prevent a heart attack. Be sure to talk to your doctor before you begin an aspirin regimen. Trust your heart to Bayer.
Oh, look, it's the guy who falls. Fall now.
Oh, I don't really do that anymore. It's not like I got that insurance.
What insurance?
Aflac. They pay you cash if you can't work when you get hurt. Not that I ever do. Aisle 5 under lingerie.
Price check!
Aflac. Ask about it at work.
Aflac.
I've always talked fast.
Ooh, give me 55, come on, 25, come on, I'll give you 1, 2, 20.
But the chemo slowed me right down. For the first time ever, I was too tired to work.
If you're on chemo and feel tired, you may be anemic.
Time to go, Charlie.
Talk to your doctor about Procrit for chemotherapy-related anemia in patients with most kinds of cancer. Procrit can help you regain red blood cells, and more red blood cells can mean more strength.
Okay, folks, I'm back.
Procrit is proven and safe. In studies, only diarrhea and edema occurred more often with Procrit than placebo.
In this business, you gotta be fast.
Tonight, the 8 Simple Rules season finale begins with Sybil Shepherd.
I went out and bought a water bra just for fun. I can hear the ocean.
A new 8 Simple Rules. And Jim takes his future father-in-law to a strip club.
He must have died.
Well, not immediately.
A new According to Jim, tonight on ABC.
Hollywood couldn't make this up. A young girl vanishes, and a man goes on trial for her murder. Then, incredibly, she reappears. Where was she? You have to see this. Good Morning America, tomorrow.
Finally this evening, politicians on the run. We'll get to that after a quick, brief review of the major news story. At least 29 people died in the terrorist attacks yesterday in Saudi Arabia, including at least 7 Americans. Although many more people may have been killed, 200 people we believe were injured, and 30 suicide bombers may have been involved. So why are politicians on the run? The governor of Texas, who is a Republican, which is important to this story, has ordered Texas Rangers to track down a group of men and women who he wants. They are actually more than 50 Democratic members of the Texas House of Representatives. They were at a hotel in Oklahoma, which ensures their opponents cannot pass controversial legislation or get any other work done. It sounds very comical, but it is very serious. ABC's Mike Von Frem reports from Austin.
On the floor of the Texas House, Republicans are circulating wanted posters and a deck of cards with the faces of 51 Democrats that have made a run for the border.
We're calling them the Chicken D's, the Chicken Democrats, because they're avoiding the issues and they fled out of state and they're just not doing the job for their constituents.
Republicans say the Democrats have turned tail and run. Democrats say they're fighting for survival. The Republican majority attempted to redraw the congressional districts to vote Democrats out of office. Instead of fighting a battle they could not win, Democrats hightailed it to Oklahoma, leaving Republicans without a quorum. They are holed up in this hotel in Ardmore, Oklahoma.
It is cowardly to send Texas troopers across state lines after midnight to try and coerce or threaten members of the Texas legislature to go back.
Texas police have no jurisdiction in Oklahoma.
Cowards run. We are running for nothing. We are running for nothing. We're standing up for our constituents.
Democrats say Republicans have put redistricting ahead of crucial legislation. Texas has a $10 billion deficit, the highest homeowners insurance rates in the country, and a school funding crisis. And now nothing's being done about any of it.
They took their marbles and went home. I don't think it's an adult way to approach the process.
So now they have nothing better to do on the House floor than to play catch and kick up their boots and sit a spell. This is gridlock Texas style. Mike Von Frem, ABC News, Austin.
And that is our report on World News Tonight. I hope you'll join us again tomorrow. I'm Peter Jennings. Good night.
With only 2 clues left, you'll get more than you expected. With so many surprises,
They're gonna take Connie's baby.
you'll be asking what will happen next.
Detective Diane Russell.
Kim Delaney returns to Blue, all new ABC tonight, 10/9 Central. Viewer discretion advised.
First, fast, accurate. News 2 at 6 starts now.
I mean, it was really helpful to know that somebody was thinking of us in that way.
Metro Police escort a sick little girl to the emergency room, but where was the ambulance? Good evening, everyone. That child needed a heart transplant and had to get to Vanderbilt in a hurry.
But authorities say 2 dispatchers made a mistake that could have cost a little girl her life and might cost them their jobs. Christy Lowe has a story you're seeing first on News 2.
Flanked by 3 Metro police cars, a taxi cab carrying a sick little girl arrives at Vanderbilt. 3-year-old Alexis McCracken is in a hurry to get the life-saving heart transplant she's been waiting for.
She was born with a congenital heart defect, and then in December they found that she was in heart failure.
At 5 a.m., Alexis's mother received the call. An organ was available. She had 4 hours to get to Nashville from Bristol, Tennessee, 292 miles away.
When you have a heart, it only can be helped for so many hours to be able to be a healthy heart.
Her emotions already on edge. Amy says there was one extremely frightening moment when they first arrived.
Child turns into outrage. A local EMT says this kind of mistake happens all the time. A News 2 exclusive interview tonight on News 2 at 6.
Lisa's back now with another look at our weather forecast.
Well, cloudy skies out there, but Storm Tracker not showing any rain, and I think we're off the hook for any heavy activity this evening and tonight, maybe a sprinkle or two, about 60 for the low. Tomorrow, very much like today, we may have mostly cloudy skies with a period of some thunder shower activity, and I think we can count on it for the weekend, too. We'll talk about that and the total lunar eclipse coming up tomorrow night at 6.
All right, Lisa.
And we'll see you back here.